Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be making another rainbow soap. A little bit different. I haven't tried this particular design before, so I'm going to be using my normal colors. So there's purple, blue, orange, pink, yellow, and green. Not in that order, obviously. I'm trying to get it in a rainbow order. However, I'm going to pour 60 grams at a time. Maybe a little bit more in some cases, so I might increase it. So it might be 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, and 85. And increase it by 5 each time for each color. So from there, I'm going to take them out and put it into a curl. And then I'm going to put that curl around another curl and continue on that for all the colors. So they'll start off with a thin layer in the center, and as it spirals out, it will get thicker and thicker. This should be interesting. I haven't done this before, so let's get started. Okay, so I forgot to mention a few things. I'm also going to be using titanium dioxide in each of the colors, just to dull it down a bit. I don't want a bright color because I'm going to be using my clear base. So I'll be adding that. And also I'm going to try and get as many of the colors done in one specific time, because if I try and wrap them, I don't want them cold. And I've done them cold before and they start to bend funny and crack. When they're nice and warm, but still solid, they're easy to manipulate. So I'm going to try and get all 4 done at one time, and then I'll have to come back and do 2 more because I have only 4 molds. All right, so I've got my 60 grams and I'm going to do my first color right now. Okay, so that's the first color, and that was at 60 grams. This one's going to be 65, 70, and 75. So I won't bother you with making like I've just done. I'm just going to pour from now on. Okay, so I've done the first 4, and now I've got 2 more colors to go, which is orange and pink, and then I can start curling. So because we're only using like 60 grams of soap at a time, this one here I think is done. So we're just going to pop it out. Yeah, easy pop out. Okay, so that one's done. I'm going to try and curl this now before I pour the next one, because if I leave it too long, I might not be able to curl it. So I'm just going to cut it down the center. And then I'm going to curl it. Just wrap it around each other. Just wrap and wrap. Like you were wrapping it around a piece of wood, like round wood or something. Now if I'd left it any longer, I wouldn't have been able to do this because it's very pliable at this stage. You know, I can stretch it out a little bit, see? I'll curl this one. Actually, you know what? I might curl it. Or should I? See, that's the problem with this. The more I curl, like if I get the next one and curl it around this one, then I'm going to have 2 purples, and I don't know if that's going to be wide enough. Like it's going to be too wide. So I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to stretch this one out and just do 1, but I might do 2 loaves of this. We'll see what we can come up with. But my problem is the soap getting into the little tiny cavities so it doesn't create holes. So I still want those little cavities there, but I want to be able to stretch it out a little bit. So that looks good. You can see that's the length of the soap, and that's the mold. So that's perfect. I'm going to do this one the same. So I'll just wrap this one around, and you can see the difference between stretching it out and not stretching it out. Okay, so there you go. So that little extra bit on the end there is stretching it out. It's the exact same piece. So if I just, basically I'm just pulling on it and stretching it out a little bit more. There we go. Very pliable. Okay, so there's those two, and then the blue is going to wrap around that one, and then the green around the blue, and then the yellow around that one. As we go further into the colors, because they're going to get thicker and thicker, I don't know if I'm going to be using one color. I might end up using like yellow for half and then the other yellow for the other half. So this still might only make one loaf of soap, I just don't know. The blue is ready, so we're going to pop the blue out. Okay, so this blue is definitely ready. Yep, it's still sort of liquidy on the other side, but that's okay. Makes it even better to cut and better to wrap too. Okay, so I want to try and go the same way as that. Let's see if I can do this. So I don't know how I'm going to actually do this, but I might be able to squeeze it in like that. Yeah, see, there's a little bit at the end here now. That's about an inch that the blue is not going to get to. So I'm just going to take that out and stretch that blue out of it. See if I can put it through there now. Okay, perfect. All right, so that's good. The blue wraps around it. It's not perfect, but it will give me an idea. So I might actually wrap this one while I'm here, while it's warm. So just going to wrap it around so it's like that, nice and tight, and then take the purple out and then stretch this one out so it's curled but there's nothing inside it, and then I can simply slot the purple back in. Like so. It's a bit fiddly. Try and get that purple up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so now we've got two of them. The next color is green and yellow, but before I do those, I'm going to pour the next two colors. Okay, on to the next color. Okay, so all the colors are done. I'm just going to get the yellow and the green out and start curling them, and by the time that I've done those two, hopefully these two have cooled down. But I think this pink is going to be the hardest one because it's the thickest one. So we'll see how we go. I'll move those aside. So the next color is green. Yep, this is set. It's nice and warm. Okay, and cut it down the center. Okay, so let's see if we can curl this that way. Should I follow the blue? I think I should. Yep. Okay, so we're just gonna do that to it. Nice little curl on it. See if we can slot that in there. All right, so the green's done. Might do the green one to this one as well. So we're just gonna grab that, wrap it around like so, and take it out, and we're left with that. That actually looks pretty cool too, doesn't it? Okay, and then just twist. All right. Okay, so that one's done as well. Okay, so I've got two. They're looking pretty good. Now the yellow. Oh, that's still a little warm. Yep, that's got to stay in there for about another 5 minutes or so, or a few minutes. See, the thicker they get, the longer they take to set. So while the green was ready, the yellow wasn't. I could feel it. I was trying to take it out, and it was stuck to the bottom of the container. See? So I'll just push that back down and let it set, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, let's see if this yellow is ready to come out. I think the other two might be ready as well. Yep. So there's where I tried to lift it up. Okay, let's see if we can curl these. They still feel a little pliable, so we should be able to get something going here. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna wrap it around the green bit. Like that. Okay, so that's those two done. Now I've got to get the orange and the pink out. Orange first. Yep, that's set. So now they're getting a little bit thicker. So it doesn't look like much, but it's hard to curl. Yeah, this is getting harder. Much harder to curl. All right, that's looking interesting so far. I hope you guys are liking this project. It's a bit of a different thing than my normal sort of melt and pour, isn't it? If you're liking these type of videos, please let me know in the comments below so I can keep doing them. I'm squeezing these now because there's no soap that's going to get into the center there, so I'm just sort of squeezing it tight and trying not to rip it like I just did. Oh no, that's okay, that's all right. Okay, so hopefully this one's set too, and this is the last one, and this is pink. Yep, that's set. All right, wish me good luck with this one. I think I'm gonna need it. Still very warm though. See how easy that is to apply by itself? But when you add it with everything else, it becomes difficult. Especially when you don't put it on the right way. There we go, like that. So there's obviously going to be bars towards the end that don't get all the colors. So down here I would assume there would be at least 2 bars that aren't going to get. The GoPro ran out of battery and just decided to die. So what I was trying to say was that when I put this in the loaf, I might not get right to the end, like that, because you can see that there's this little gap at the end here where the pink stops and then the rest of the colors continue. So there might be a few bars that are just everything but the pink. And so we're gonna curl this one over like so. Take the yellow out. Okay. Okay, might try and stretch this one out a bit. All right, we have 2 rainbow swirls. They look amazing. That looks really, really cool. All right, so now I've just got to weigh them, figure out how much I've got to put in the loaves, and it looks like I'm making 2 loaves of this stuff. All right, so here is my scale. So that's 210, and that's 200. So together they make 410. So I've got to subtract that from the loaves, and these hold around about 1100. So I've got to melt 1800 grams down. So I'm going to get that now and put it into white base and then pour it in over the top. Let's go. So here on the scale, I've got 1823 grams. I'll do a little bit more. I always like to have a little bit more rather than have it less. So I'm going to melt this down now and add some titanium dioxide to it and see how we go. Okay, so what I've realized is that because I've stretched these out, the curls don't fit into the mold correctly, the length. So I'm going to have to cut them a little shorter. So I want the most amount of color in each side, so I'm just gonna clip that off. Okay, so that's fine. At least this side will give me at least 1 good bar. So we've melted down the base. I'm going to add some white to this in a second, and then I'm going to use my stick blender to blend it all in so it doesn't become opaque like it did in the last one. And actually there's a few more chunks still left in here at the bottom that I could not see because they are clear, but I can feel them. So I'm going to melt this down a little bit more and then come back. And I'm going to add my titanium dioxide to this. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to add my fragrance. This is just for 1 loaf. I'm going to do the second loaf separately because these are different weights. So I'm going to add 15 grams. And then I'm going to use my stick blender, which I normally use for cold process soap. And I'm going to blend this up. Okay, so let's check the temperature. So it is 147 degrees, which is 64. So way too hot to put that in there. We're going to try and cool it down a little bit with some rubbing alcohol and stirring it. And once it gets to the right temperature, then I'll pour it in. Actually, you know what? I might pour a little bit in now, so I get a layer on the bottom of white. I'm not sure how much that was, but the embeds aren't that big, so they should be able to sit on top of that. And then it should be within the center of the loaf anyway. So I'll wait for that to get a skin. I'll spray the embed, and then I'll pour the white in over the top. We are ready to pour. Okay, so I've got my base ready. I've microwaved it again for 20 seconds and it's melted down. It's at 129 degrees. So I'm just gonna spray the loaf and spray the base. And I'm gonna pour a little bit in. Like so. Spray that again. Now I'm going to spray the embed. I'm not going to be able to get into all the little bits and pieces, but I'm going to try. Spray at both ends so it drips down in between. Okay, and place it in. Hope for the best. Okay, spray that. And pour over the top. Looks like it's bleeding a little bit, but should hold. Should be alright. Yeah, you can see a little bit of bleeding, so it's probably just the fact that I've used too much mica. Okay, spray the top of that one. So that one's done. Now I have to do the second one. I'm going to do that off camera because it's exactly the same as this. So I'm going to come back when I'm about to unmold them. So it's the next morning and I'm going to unmold both of these. Let's go. Okay, so we can't see the embed at this stage. We're going to have to cut her open. All right, here we go. Okay, so I knew that there was going to be bits like this because the first couple of bars on each end are pretty much nothing. That's interesting. That wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but... yeah, there's that hole. The soap didn't get into it. Still, I like it. See what the rest look like. I think they're all going to be very similar. There's a little bit of soap that didn't get into that bit between the orange and the pink. Oh, no. Great big hole right in the center. And last cut for this loaf. So I like the way that this is turning out. I don't know how the other loaf is going to look. I'm going to cut it right now. Pretty much going to be exactly the same. So in general, I am super excited that this actually worked. My cutting skills are getting a little bit better. They're all flat. This one's about 1 millimeter taller than the rest of them, but apart from that, they're good. Like I said before, I'm not happy with the holes. That's part of the process of learning and doing something like this. I wonder how this would look on black. I know a couple of you have commented that rainbow colors look really defined on black, so maybe that's a future project. So let me know what you think. Do you like this or not? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.